Hello, everyone. My name's Matt. I'm the youth and family pastor at Cornerstone Church in Marshfield. I'm here today with your Cornerstone Connection, a daily devotional. So I'm going to read for you Hebrews chapter 13, verses 5 to 6. Perhaps you've heard these couple of verses before, but I think in our culture, in our way of life, these couple of verses are so powerful and so important to keep in front of us on a daily basis, quite honestly. So here's what it says. Keep your life free from love of money and be content with what you have. For he has said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So we can confidently say, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me? So friends, here's what we see here today in the text is that you and I, if we are followers of Christ, we're told that we are to keep ourselves from the love of money, not from money itself, but from the love of it. And that we are to be content with what we have. In that opening statement, we're told that basically if we do pursue the love of money, if we are in love with it and what it can do for us and what it can get us, the reality is that we'll never find what we're actually seeking. We'll never find contentment, right? I don't know if you've ever heard of the American millionaire. His name, he goes way back. He was a financier. He was a statesman. His name is Bernard Baruch. And he was asked one time, I have it quoted here. He was asked this, so how much money does it take for a rich man to be satisfied? And Baruch answered, just $1 million more than he already has. How much money does it take to be satisfied, for a rich man to be fully satisfied? Just $1 million more than what he already has. What a beautiful quote, but yet sad, right? The reality being is that you and I, we can strive all of our life trying to find contentment and satisfaction in the things that we have, in the money and the pursuit of gaining more and more. But the reality is we're not going to be content at all. We're not going to be satisfied at all. We're going to continue to search. We're going to continue to try to get more and spend more and have more. And yet in our soul, we'll be completely deprived. So where does contentment lie? Well, let's look at Hebrews 13, 5 to 6 again. It says, keep your life free from love of money and be content with what you have. Okay, so yes, we are to be content. We're to look around in our homes, in our workplaces, wherever we are and go, okay, I'm content in what I have. I have enough for today. But the writer goes on, for he has said, that's God, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So you and I can confidently say, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me? So our contentment, yes, it can rest in looking around and saying, I have what I need for today. And for many of us, we can look around and say, I have way more than I need for today. That's the reality for many of us. But I think what we also find in Hebrews 13, 5 to 6 is that our contentment doesn't just come from the fact that we have been given and that we have plenty. But it comes from the fact that God promises something to us. He says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. And you know what that means, friend? That means that whether you are asleep at night in your bed, or when you wake up in the morning, or when you send your kids off to school, or when you go to work, or if you travel a long distance to a distant country for your job, or whatever it is, you know what the reality is? If you're one of God's children, He is with you. He never leaves you. He never forsakes you. Therefore, you can be content because the provider of everything you have is always with you. His presence and therefore his provision will never expire. It will never run out because he will never leave you. He will never forsake you. Can money say that? Can money ever leave you? Yeah. Can money ever forsake you? Yeah. And when does it usually? Well, when it becomes our love. When it becomes our first love, the thing that we're pursuing above all other things is when it seems to deceive us the most and let us down the most. And we find ourselves dissatisfied and discontent. It's not the case for the child of God, because our God never leaves us and he never forsakes us. He's always there, and he always has whatever we need. I hope that's an encouragement to you today, friends, and I can't wait to see you next time on the Cornerstone Connection.